A lot of stuff right now is happening around Terra Luna Classic. The price has been skyrocketing, but a lot of things are happening, and it all started with the Binance Blockchain Week with a journalist called Ian Ellison, which was wearing a very funny thing next to very interesting people, which we'll discuss in today's video. Binance as well announced some stuff around Lung. Do Kwon, the founder of Lung, Terra, is actually scheduled to be sentenced very soon as well. And we are seeing exchanges delisting Terra Luna Classic, which is actually pretty weird. And the most weird about it all is that everything is happening in such a short time span right now, out of the blue, out of nothing. That's why we're going to talk about it in today's video. And later in today's video, I'm going to show you also a little bit my plan regarding altcoins, which altcoins I'm holding right now, and to which altcoins I want to go into once we are seeing some movements happening. So guys, let's jump straight into it. So it all started with the Binance Blockchain Week, which was an event going on in Dubai from the 3rd to the 4th of December, because one journalist of CoinDesk, Ian Ellison, sat down on stage with a Terra Luna Classic shirt. And who is Ian Ellison to begin with? Well, he is I think one of the most famous crypto journalists, especially the most famous one from CoinDesk. And he became famous by researching FTX. And actually, it's said that he has been helping with the FTX downfall. So in that regards, you can actually say that this is quite a prominent figure definitely in the world of journalism around crypto, but maybe in crypto in general as well. And also him sitting on stage with the Binance Blockchain Week together with someone from Ripple, someone from Mastercard. But of course, the craziest thing is that he was wearing a Terra Luna Classic shirt, and basically this project has been dead for such a long time. So why is such a prominent figure suddenly wearing that shirt? But also, guys, you got to see it. It's wearing that shirt on the Binance Blockchain Week. And we all know that Binance always continued to support the Terra Luna Classic chain. Binance is also not delisting this token, but a lot of exchanges outside of Binance are all delisting this token. And this is very strange that it all happens around this time, because why have they not delisted these tokens after this big crash? Why do they wait a couple of years and then they actually start to delist it? It's pretty strange, but we will dive into that a little bit later. And here, guys, you can already see how Terra Luna Classic is making this sneaky comeback with very small baby steps, with, of course, sitting together with somebody from Mastercard and somebody from Ripple. And of course, it's just Ian Ellison that is wearing the t-shirt. But you gotta also imagine, why is that guy wearing a t-shirt of Terra Luna Classic? Of course, if you are going to sit on stage and you're going to wear a certain t-shirt, you better be supporting that project with all of your heart. And you don't want to have any pictures or videos taken of you with such a shirt supporting that project while you do not support that project, or while you do not know much about it. You know what I'm saying? So definitely this person, Ian Ellison, which helped with the downfall of FTX, is definitely a big supporter of Terra Luna Classic. Otherwise, you wouldn't wear that shirt. So from this day, the 3rd and 4th December, actually from the 4th of December, Lung started to pump. And then suddenly a lot of new news articles came out, and the price just went insane, and it did like even in one day over 100%. Then on the 5th of December, Binance suspends Luna deposits withdrawals for December the 8th because there is a certain network upgrade. Well, this was eventually also bullish for the price because the price started to pump. Definitely the upgrade will be done tomorrow. So tomorrow there won't be any withdrawals or deposits of the Terra Luna Classic network. Then this is going to be very interesting as well, because the 11th of December, there is something going on, because Do Kwon has to come in front of court and is scheduled to be sentenced by Judge Engelmeyer on December 11th. So a lot of things have been happening around the Terra Luna Classic project, but it's definitely not that as the chart suggests with this big drop. It's definitely not that because they have reached a certain settlement. It needs to pay a certain amount of money, but that might also mean that Terra Luna Classic, which right now, of course, mostly is a community project, will soon be separated from its founder. I mean, this is just a possibility. It will be separated from its founder so that negativity around this whole fraud and crash is not that much linked again to Luna Classic, and therefore it can become its own ecosystem again, maybe with a different stablecoin or maybe a different algorithm, because one of the main reasons why Terra Luna Classic collapsed is because they had a algorithmic coding mechanism to keep the stablecoin at a 1-to-1 peg. But something went wrong there and then it just completely collapsed. So it's very interesting that so much is happening around Terra Luna Classic, also some positive things, but that even though that those positive things are happening and right now the hype is catching up, exchanges still choose to delist this token. Now we go to the delisting part, guys, because Kraken, actually one of the exchanges that is mentioned pretty often also in these prophecies, just have announced that they are going to delist Luna Classic, Luna 2, and the stablecoin of Luna, USD. They're going to delist it starting from the 12th of December. That is one day after the scheduled judgment of Do Kwon. So that's also very interesting that this happens again around the same time, and it's not the only exchange that is delisting Luna Classic. There have been many exchanges that did it already in the past, so you can basically trade until the 12th of December. After that you can hold or withdraw your Luna Classic on the Kraken. You cannot sell it, and on the 1st of March 2026 they will liquidate the funds that you have in Terra Luna Classic on that moment on Kraken. I don't know. It really depends on what price it will be at then and how they are going to sell it. Maybe they will have to sell it on a different exchange. I don't know. But this is basically how it goes on Kraken. A delist, which is pretty weird because, like I said, many people have actually been mentioning Kraken, but maybe because of the high amount of people setting all these orders over on Kraken, they just thought, like, get rid of this token. I don't know, but yeah, we've seen a lot of delisting. So OKX already delisted it, eToro, WooX, Sonda Crypto. Well, I don't know these last two, but they basically have delisted as well. Crypto.com has delisted Luna Classic as well, and interesting thing, guys, is delisting this token can also have a positive effect on the price. So one example that I want to name is Dash token. We have been trading Dash token on this channel, and right before, and the pattern of Dash was actually pretty nice. It was looking good, and then suddenly you had all these stories coming out, like exchanges, they are delisting Dash because of its privacy future, and exchanges were scared with governments like offering privacy tokens. Right, so a lot of exchanges delisted Dash. I think like Bybit even included, one of the bigger exchanges, right? So I was also a little bit shocked at that moment, like, whoa, why are they all delisting? Like, where can I offload my Dash? I was even like thinking like that. But I just thought, you know what, I'm just going to hold it. And I just held it. And then suddenly it went from $24 all the way up to $150 because you gotta imagine as well, the less exchanges that are offering a token, the less liquidity or selling options are there, the higher the price can go, and the higher the price go, the more hype it can catch. So to make it a little bit of a conspiracy type of thing, this can also be a little bit planned. Right, so they will, for example, Binance is making it more difficult for other exchanges to be liquid in terms of Terra Luna Classic. These other exchanges smell a little bit some danger. Okay, there might be some risk in these tokens. They delist it. Binance becomes one of the only ones that list this token. It will be easier for them to pump the price, create hype. Therefore, people are forced to go to Binance in order to trade Terra Luna Classic. So they will increase, they can build more money, and they will increase the amount of users going to that platform. So that might be one of the strategies that's in play right here. But with all the actions that I'm seeing, guys, people are delisting this token, Binance continuing to support, Ian Ellison wearing the shirt. Oh, like you can already see Terra Luna Classic is busy with a comeback. It's definitely some stuff that is going on right here, which is very interesting. Now let's go to the price chart of Terra Luna Classic. We have a very clear descending channel right here. What I also like kinda is that we somewhat have a falling wedge as well. Let me change the color so it's a little bit easier to see. Let's make that one blue. And we do something like this. So maybe we do something like this. This could be a falling wedge, the blue, but also maybe we should look at more like this. And what's interesting with this chart or with this pattern is that we have this falling wedge, break down of the falling wedge, move a little bit sideways, break back into the wedge, and then get rejected directly at the resistance. So generally, guys, this is a dip. This is called a dip from a falling wedge formation. And normally when you have the dip and break back into the wedge, it goes straight to the resistance, which we did, and then maybe gets like a small pullback and then breaks it directly and continues to rally. And the target would be the top of this wedge right here. So I would definitely, when I see the strength of Terra Luna Classic, and right now it's coming down a little bit, taking a little bit of a breather, I would still say this is definitely looking bullish, and I would expect Terra Luna Classic to go higher, because you also got to imagine Terra Luna Classic doesn't have that big of a market cap. It's quite a low cap coin right now, catching a lot of hype, and it's just so interesting that it is often these prophetic tokens that have these strange things going on, right? Of course, first XRP, XLM, the ISO 222 hype, Dash. Well, I haven't really heard anyone talking about Dash in terms of dreams or visions or whatnot. Nevertheless, Dash made a very good comeback as well. But this is just, if you just look at this from a rational perspective, Luna Classic, with the whole failed project, the founder being a fraud, being sentenced to jail, like, what is the reason that this really will make a comeback? Like, there is something probably happening behind the scenes. Probably something is important with this project, or there is some, there is some benefits with this project. It can do certain things which can be beneficial. I don't know exactly what's the case, but definitely some people expecting that something is going to happen with Terra Luna Classic. Otherwise, the market cap wouldn't pump with hundreds of millions of dollars out of the blue, out of nothing. I find it very unlikely to see the guy with a Terra Luna Classic t-shirt on the Binance Blockchain Week, and then based on what people see there, hundreds of millions will flood the market into this token in a single day, just because the guy wears the t-shirt. I can understand that it can help with the hype, but it is, what I'm trying to say, it's some serious money moving in this token, some serious money. So I would say that is more than just retail looking at this guy wearing the t-shirt. It's more that some people probably know something, and therefore a lot of liquidity is moving to this token. Okay, guys, I said I'm going to go with you over some charts, and I actually want to share one chart with you. And this is like, I've been looking at this chart already for quite a while, and like it hasn't been doing that much. I was actually bullish on this token for quite a while, and that is Litecoin. Litecoin is, like, the thing is, it's a very interesting token because it is one of the first tokens that is created after Bitcoin. But in terms of price in the US dollar terms, in the shorter term time frame, it doesn't look that bullish because it's coming down. But what we often see also with these prophetic dreams and visions is that people often say, okay, you wanna be positioned in Terra Luna Classic, you want to be positioned in Shiba Inu. When these tokens take off, you want to take profits and you want to put that in XRP. Later with XRP, we can make certain structures where we can become liquidity providers and then generate passive income, like become an own institutional bank, something like that. If you're interested in that, I'm doing now more research into that. So if you are interested in that, let me know in the comment section, because I can definitely create some more videos on how that works from a technical standpoint. But I'm also still in my research phase, so I have to invest a little bit more time to understand exactly how this works and how that could fit in the world and how you can structure it properly. So I'm busy with that, to be honest. So the Litecoin US dollar chart is, like, from a macro perspective, this is such an interesting chart because it looks really similar like XRP before XRP really took off, right? So we have this big triangle formation, 7-year long period with the relative strength index making higher lows, already showing that the momentum is changing in the background. But there was a lot of hype around Litecoin as well, which also is something, guys. These tokens, similar with Luna Classic, they probably won't go in these crazy rallies when most people expect it. It will happen when people do not really expect it, right? So when I look at this chart, I see, like, okay, I think generally this one will break out to the upside. When, I don't know, but definitely this is a bullish chart. But then comes the more important chart. If you measure this chart against XRP, and I'm actually still bullish on XRP, then I'm becoming more bullish on Litecoin and actually think, like, okay, this might be a very good setup to be in Litecoin and to take profits in XRP whenever this one goes up. Because you can already see right here the relative strength index already coming up pretty big, and the price is moving sideways. So I actually think, guys, but this is not financial advice, this is not, but I actually think that this is a ticking time bomb, and that this one can explode to the upside. But it will only happen when when people least expect it. That's what I think. But the position of Litecoin, you also got to think about. It is one of the most earliest tokens after Bitcoin, right? So it definitely has some historical value. It has a very long historical track record of being up. The hash rate of Litecoin is significantly increasing as well. It's of course cheaper to transact with Litecoin than with Bitcoin. Bitcoin is the gold, Litecoin is the silver, the digital silver. A lot of narratives, it's proof of work. It also has a privacy function recently integrated. Well, that fits again into the privacy narrative. I can see a lot of things lining up for this token, but I have been way too early with calling this token. But of course, if it did rally earlier, then I wasn't too early with calling it. So with Dash, I was also pretty early, and it took months before it actually took off, right? Litecoin might take a little bit longer, but the more that I'm analyzing, because sometimes I'm doubting as well, okay, this coin is still not going up, what's going on, right? But then when I grab these charts again and I look at these charts, then I think, like, whoa, it's actually looking good. It's looking good, and I'm going to stick with that. So I'm actually still bullish on Litecoin, guys. So I definitely think that something eventually this will take everyone by surprise, and bam, it will just break out to the upside. And like I said in my previous videos as well, the Dino tokens, all of them are holding out pretty strong. While Bitcoin is correcting, Bitcoin Cash is doing good as well. I also said this is going to be a very big token. I think Bitcoin Cash is going to make a comeback as well. A lot of narratives lined up for this token. A lot of people think that Bitcoin Cash is actually the original Bitcoin. Of course, this is a whole other discussion, but I'm just talking about narratives in terms of trading. Dash, I think, still looks good. We had that massive breakout. Maybe if you look at this on the weekly time frame, you think, like, okay. But yeah, if you zoom out on the monthly time frame, you see, okay, we break the resistance on the monthly time frame. Of course, if we break back into the channel, it would be a danger signal. But as long as we are back into the channel, back into the pattern, as long as we are holding above the resistance, I expect this, and I don't know in terms of time, but eventually to move to the resistance right here, which will be at $1,000 to $1,200. And I actually think Dash can go higher. Dash is also an OG. It's really a good token, to be honest. Also, again, privacy future. It's a Dino token. This is very valuable when it is a Dino token and it has privacy futures. I think both of it is going to be very valuable in the future. Because you want to be invested in these ecosystems that have stood the test of time already, because those are the Googles, the Amazons, and Facebooks from the internet. but then from the blockchain. If you get what I mean, right? They have already a track record. They have stood the test of time. They have been in the top 20 tokens for a very long time, not compared with other tokens. And maybe not always in the top 20, maybe sometimes a little bit out, but they have remained in the game. So I definitely think these tokens are the Amazons and Googles. And also, guys, you gotta know, if you invest in these tokens, you have a part of that market cap of these tokens, right? So it's the opposite with cash. Later, now I can talk a little bit some different I'm gonna make it a little bigger, guys. Drop a thumbs up if you like the videos, of course, and if you are going to enjoy your Sunday, let me know in the comment section down below. But the only way for the US dollar, for the America, to get out of debt is to debase the US dollar itself, right? They have to devalue it. And how to devalue it? By printing more of it, like by breaking it down. They have to break their currency. Probably they have to give a third party, they have to give somebody else the blame for that. Right, so it's not their fault that it happened. But the only way to get out of debt is to make the debt have a lower value, right? So when the debt have a lower value, where does that value then actually go to? Well, I think it will go to crypto. And if you are positioned in crypto, it will be very volatile. It will go very much up, very much down. And of course, when it goes really up, you got to take profits. And when it goes really down, you got to sit still or maybe add a little bit to your position. But do not get shaken out, because that's what they want. They want you to get shaken out in any of these tokens. Because once you have a piece of this token, you have a piece of the network which cannot be inflated. Right, so you have really something of value in this case, which third party not directly has control over. So this is something you got to understand. Like, if you hold 10,000 US dollars on your bank account, right, you have some value because you can go to the shop and you can buy some things. But over time, the control of that value is somewhere else. And with crypto, that's just a little bit different, because once these currencies were all being devalued, there will be a flight to assets that do work and that are decentralized. And a lot of these assets will be crypto. Of course, it will be gold and silver too, probably, but they only come so far, because you cannot carry a lot of gold and silver with you all the time, right? You need to have then a third party holding your gold and silver. Crypto in a crazy anarchistic world is more safe, because you can hold it with having the password, so nobody can even take it from you. They have to take the password from your head, and if you then don't give it, how can they take it? With gold and silver, it's slightly different, right? So they can just come, take the gold, take the silver, or you have to bring it. If you want to go cross borders with gold and silver, there's also going to be a problem. So there is a very big use case for crypto, a very big one, especially in a world which is chaotic, which is breaking down. The use case of crypto will just grow. And we can already see it right now. The world will not become any more peaceful in the coming years, so to say. It will be more volatile. Therefore, you got to don't get shaken out, because you really have a piece of a certain system. So if XRP becomes like a global adopted system and you own part of it, you have part of that cannot be inflated, right? It's a little bit discussable sometimes, because of course you have sometimes centralized hash rates, which can then eventually have a certain attack or block certain people, proof of stake. So it's not always decentralized. But in this transition, probably it's your best bet to retain somewhat of a value by having certain cryptos. That's what I personally believe. And then, of course, you got to make your way into these markets and then see at the charts, which we just did, for example, with Litecoin, see which cryptos are most likely, not guaranteed, most likely to hold or increase their value in the next coming months or six months or something like that. and then position yourself accordingly, and of course use your intuition with that, because that's very important as well, and that's what we are trying to do here on this channel too. So yeah guys, that was the story of today's video. I also wanted to share one thing with you that I actually thought about yesterday that I just like to share with you, is that if you look into this world, right, you look into this world and you see all these things, like the whole movie industry, the whole music industry, the education system, the apps like TikTok, even YouTube, X, Twitter, all the there is so much effort going on in trying to distract you. And now I'm just talking about like a little bit the external distractions, right? We can also talk about, substance abuse, like having a lot of caffeine, having a lot of sugar, having a lot of like drinking alcohol, like smoking cigarettes, like all of these things. Like imagine all the things that are set in place to distract you, to put your attention somewhere else, not inside of you, but outside of you. And what I thought is that, and what I actually experienced myself firsthand, once you dim down these distractions, and you take the distractions away from a person, but you also take, for example, like substance abuse away, you take sugars away, you give a person like an empty room and water, like the less distractions this person have, the better his connection become. Because from a natural state, we are connected. We are connected to the divine. We are connected to our authentic self. That is the exact reason why they do so much effort to take you out of it. It's not like you automatically get out of it, because from a natural point of view, from a natural state, you are connected. So they have to bring you into an unnatural state, bring you in a place of fear, bombard you with energy, with information, bombard you with chemicals that are like trying to disrupt the brain, trying to create these peaks and these lows, like they're trying to do everything, even the trails open up in the sky, right? Everything to get you to get you out of your own power. But if you have less of these distractions, you, from a natural point of view, you probably feel that when you are fasting, you naturally be more in connection. And that is what is going to be very important in all of these times, is to be connected and to preserve your own authority and power. And you do that by indulging less in these, let's just call it, distractive habits. I also deal with it, and I know many of the people watching this are dealing with it. I have dealt a lot with substance abuse in the past. That is not much of a problem in my life anymore. Like, I'm really grateful for that. But for example, like being distracted on the internet, right? Scrolling or looking at certain like mindless videos, or these AI videos that are right now popping up everywhere. It is absolutely insane. And I see them also over on X, and then you have these titles from people, like even the text, that they actually think it is serious what's happening right there in the video, or they just do it to farm engagement, I don't know, while the video is AI generated. So 50% of the stuff you watch online is not even built by a human. Like, what is that? Right? So you got to imagine that your subconscious is really prone for manipulation, right? So if you are scrolling a lot, and these AI, they are kind of like programming your subconscious, it is not really beneficial for you. And it's actually, for example, mindless scrolling, for example, YouTube Shorts or TikTok, is the opposite of meditation. So meditation is, having your attention at one thing, diving within. You have, of course, different meditation practices, but it's a simple, guided focus, right? Two, scrolling on TikTok, for example, is where your focus goes out of you. Meditation, the focus goes into you, which is good, because then inside you can work on yourself. And this is the important process, the alchemical process, versus let it flow out of you. Then your control goes to something else. I don't know, this was just something that was on my mind. I wanted to share it with you. Do with it what you want to do, but I think every one of us is dealing with this, and yeah, we got to be mindful of that. Guys, wish you all a beautiful Sunday, and I hope to see every single one of you in the next video. Bye bye.